Hi everybody. Welcome to this lesson in how to read, write, and use chord charts. I don't know what the name of this lesson should be. Let's just call it chord charts. This is going to be a valuable lesson to every musician on the worship team. And if you're taking the guitar classes on this channel, this is the first lesson in intermediate guitar playing, although this lesson is not specific to guitar players. I just want to talk about chord charts because they're so important. And so many charts I see can use some improvement, even the ones I write. Believe it or not, they're not all perfect. I think that the very best chord chart is no chord chart at all. So let me explain what I mean. Oh no. This is so irritating. I hate it when this happens.
Hello?
Excuse me, Donna. I have asked you to please stop interrupting me when I'm making videos.
But I'm a professional and I've got something important to say.
Well, you don't need to say it in the video.
Yes, I do.
Okay, we can show grace even when people are acting weird, even if they're a purple dinosaur. Well, what is it that's so important to say? Please say it and then let me finish.
Well, now you've made me a little nervous.
Okay, just relax and tell us what it is.
Well, I forgot.
Okay, you forgot. Now please go back to sleep and go to your own YouTube channel, okay?
Okay, bye.
Donna Dingbat has her own YouTube channel. Some of the videos are really funny. It's nice, clean humor. I'll put a link there. Let's get back to chord charts. All right, the reason no chord chart is the best chord chart is because if nobody is using a chord chart, that means they know the song and they don't need one. Can you imagine going to see your favorite band at a concert and they're all up there with music stands in front of their faces playing away? It wouldn't be cool, would it? And when you're not using a chart, you're able to engage with the congregation a lot better. You can have eye contact with them. You don't have to worry about getting lost on your chart. That being said, chord charts are really important, and I use them all the time. Everybody on our worship team does. A lot of churches do use chord charts. So, the most important thing about a chord chart is it's got to be readable. If somebody hands me a chord chart and it's got 10-point font, well, it's almost as useless as salt that has lost its saltiness, and we all know what we need to do with that stuff, okay? And I want to also tell you that I look a little different than the first half of this video. I have to stop, and I've been to church, and this period of protests that we're going through. Yeah, I was going to church and it's so out of control. People are protesting about everything. I actually saw a sign that said, "End road work." All right, now I'm going to talk about some very specific parts of chord charts, and this is going to have a lot of information on it. I'm just going to breeze right through it. If you'll notice, it's got the name of the song. This is called the chord chart song, and the author, Donna Dingbat. And let me scroll over a little bit. This is the format of the song: verse, 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 pre-chorus, chorus times 4, verse, bridge, pre-chorus, chorus times 2, and the ending. This little bit of information I usually never put on charts because it's difficult to be reading a chart and then look back up here to find out where you want to go. But sometimes it does help in learning the chart, in case I forget how it goes. That I've got that up there for me, but usually I never put that on there. One thing I take off is all the CCLI, ASCAP, BMI, publishing, copyright, all that stuff I take off. I think it's important for the song author and the publisher and all that to get their money, and we make sure that payment is made, but putting that on the chart really only adds clutter, and I think it's really important to not have anything on the chart that isn't something we actually need to help us play this song. So you see the intro, I write G, G, C, G. That just means 2 bars of G, a bar of C, and then a bar of G. And the first thing we notice about this song is, after the intro, is a repeat mark. So we just kind of make a mental note that eventually we're going to have to come back there. And then we've got 1 chord for the first line, it's G. This is a song about charts. The font size is 14 or bigger. I really can't use charts that are smaller than 14. They're just too difficult. The second chord is a D with an F sharp in the bass. The D chord has an F sharp in the bass, not a G flat, because it's in the key of G, which has sharps, not flats. I think that is an important thing that never gets talked about. If your song is in a key like G, D, A, E, B, those keys use sharps. And if your song is in what I call horn chords, like A flat, B flat, F, they get flats. Just refer to a circle of fifth, or ask somebody, or go on to Google and see if you should be using sharps or flats. But don't combine them, because that can be confusing to some people. Okay, so now we come up to this thing right over here. You'll see a number 1 with this little half of a rectangle here. That means the first time you come to this part in the song, you go in here. And then we see this repeat mark here. That tells us to go back, 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 back till we come to this repeat mark here. And when we see the 2 little circles on the repeat mark, we bounce off of them and just keep going along till we get to here. And since there's a 1 there, that means we only go in there the first time we get to that point. But we're at the second time we reach this point in the song. So we look down and we see 2, 4. That means the second and fourth time you get to this point, you go in here. And so we play this line as played the second and fourth time, D minor 7th, blah, 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 some more chords. And then we hit the go back button, or the repeat mark. Remember, you see the 2 circles, so that bounces you back, 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 back till you see these 2 circles here, and then you start bouncing off of them and go forward, forward, forward. This is the 3rd time, so we skip down to where the 3 is, and we go into this, and we play this after we do the verse, blah, blah, blah. This is the pre-chorus. It usually has 8 bars. Sometimes it's called the middle 8. People in Europe call it the middle 8. In America, we call it the pre-chorus. And then it just continues right into, this is the chorus. It usually has the name of the song in it. We will play it 4 times and go to the top of the song. And then we see these 2 little dots on the repeat mark, and we bounce back, back, back all the way till we come to the next repeat mark where we hit the 2 dots first, and we bounce off of that and come in. And now this is the 4th time, so we go into here, because we go into this one the 2nd and 4th time, and we go, and we're playing along, and we see this little note that says 2nd time 2 coda. Sometimes a chart will just say 2 coda. Sometimes it will just say 2 this symbol, which is the symbol for a coda. So 2nd time to coda, we're playing this little bit the 2nd time, so we bounce down to the coda, which is right there. And this is the bridge. Blah, 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 and there's no repeat marks here, so we just keep going. It says pre-chorus. We play the pre-chorus, and then we play the chorus twice. And then la, la, la is the ending. There's nothing after that, so the song just stops there. Now let's talk a little bit about these chords. In the interest of keeping my charts as uncluttered as possible, this is the symbol I use for a major 7th chord. It's just a triangle. 99.9% of all jazz charts that have a major 7th chord will use this. It's a good symbol to know. Very simple to learn. It's going to save you a lot of clutter. There is another symbol way down here that's a little circle. This chord is an F sharp diminished chord. That's the symbol for a diminished chord. We'll see a D4, Sometimes it's called a D suspended or a D sus or a D sus4 or a D suspended 4. On my charts, they're just called D4. And I will explain the music theory of why to anybody on the worship team. But for this lesson, I don't want any clutter. Here we have a D2. I don't call it a D add 2 or a D add 9. It's simply a D2. And that's about it. The only thing that I kind of forgot is I would normally write the word chorus right here. This pencil doesn't even work, so that we know that that's the chorus. And I would write pre-chorus right above the pre-chorus. That helps when we get here. We know exactly what these two elements of the song are. So that's it for this chart. And now for a bonus. You can see that how disengaging it looks to have your music chart like this, your music stand rather. If you just flatten it out a little bit, bring it down to where you need it, much easier to engage with everybody that you're playing music for. Now I want to show you this chart. This is one of my favorite songs and one of my favorite ways to write a chart. This is Trading My Sorrows. You'll notice the top part is A, D, F sharp minor, and E. The entire song follows that pattern except for the bridge, which is E with an E4 in the middle of the E chord, G, and D. All you need to know is where that bridge comes in, which is at the end of the second verse. And that's it. That's all you really need to play this song. The song does have a specific bass intro, and if the bass player has taken the time to learn that, we'll play it that way. But if the bass player's played it a million times and it's not a big deal to them, I don't even like to have that, what they call signature bass line intro, because I don't like being an imitator. And if you got your guitar, play along. I traded my sorrows. Same exact chords for the chorus and the verses at the end of the second verse. Sorrow may last for the night, joy comes in the morning. I traded my sorrows. Now, if you can get everybody on your worship team to play it using a chart like this, as a worship leader, you can do 2 verses in a row. You can have your guitar player play a guitar solo if you've got an instrumentalist like a keyboard player or a trumpet player and you want to give them a solo. This is a good song to do that on. It's so much freer than following a chart where every note is written out. And this is the transitioning step into not using chord charts at all, which is, once again, the best. Let's stay focused on staying safe, and we're going to defeat this coronavirus enemy. God is going to be with us as we go forth and lead people in worship this week. I love you. And now maybe just a few guitar chords to soothe my mind. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It really helps me. See you next time.